Bless up, big up, Wakusu. Wakusu, our greeting, wake up, clean up, stand up. Again, wake up, clean up, stand up, that given to us by our brother Malcolm, whom, as you can see, we rely heavily on for using foundational principles to this understanding of modern black nationalism. So bless up, man. Bless up. Thank the universe, thank the creator for this day. Definitely having reverence and honor and acknowledging the greatness of our ancestry, just all the wonderful traits that they possess to get us into this position today to do what we do. This is why you and I must remain champions of what I call the true faith, and that's just our continuance. Our constant growing and evolving until liberation is achieved. Hence the reason for this live, man. Hence the reason for this live, because I've been listening, and I have to say this about my former camp, man, my former teammate. Shouts out to the Arena Uncensored. Shouts out to the panelists over there. But I have to say this. I'm going to have to revoke the Black Nationalist pass. I'm sorry. Got to turn it in, fellas. If you want to fight for it, you can fight for it. If you want to contend it, respectfully, of course. You know how we get down on the ideology. If you want to contend for it, if you want to contend that you practice some form of black nationalism or that you're still under the black nationalist umbrella, then I'll accept that challenge, because now you have to prove it to me. Now it has to be absolutely proven to me from the things that man, I don't know where my ears were at first. Was I overlooking these things, or have you guys grown more brazen in just the complete buffoonery, brothers? Real shit, you guys, that you're trying to masquerade and pass off to the people, trivializing or downplaying the effects of white supremacy, measuring certain small advancements in society to the overall social and I'm not even just talking about here. I'm not even just talking about nationally, almost globally, the global effect of white supremacy. But let's stay in the national effect of white supremacy. And as if you don't understand that the system no longer holds a neutrality. The system is being used against you and I as personified in Jackson, Mississippi. I don't know what about that you guys really don't get. Now I think that it's willful ignorance. I think that I have to question if another agenda is being pushed here, because it doesn't get any more blatant. But that's that conservative talk. That's that very NRA talk. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. And all the while dumping automatic weapons into the inner city. They had a choice to grab the fucking crate load of guns, but creating conditions where this ammunition is ripe and prime for the circumstance and situation. You know the mentality. I mean, you can talk the jargon and the rhetoric. I poor GTO. She doesn't know. Man, she's up there on the panel. She is going to be one of the first people that suffer so badly. She's rolling with people that advocating cutting programs and things that assist us, the general masses. As Malcolm will you know what I realized? That's why I said I'm not even going to go into it. I'm going to go along with Malcolm, because I think all of us will agree. They've heard Black Sun say it. I think all of us have acknowledged it was a consensus over there when I was there anyway. You know, that Malcolm was the father of modern Black nationalism. So I said, you know what? Maybe they didn't hear me. I'm not so arrogant as to think that I brought it, I expounded upon it. I brought the most clarity to it, that I really laid it down to maybe they didn't get it from me. Cool, I can accept that. Let's go back to the person that we all agreed upon was the father of this understanding this development of the ideology of black nationalism, this phase in the game that he was the prominent, the keynote contributor. He didn't invent it. He was the keynote contributor at that time. He was the father of black nationalism. Like they say, Martin Delany or either Reverend Woodson was the father of black nationalism. Malcolm was the contributor to this understanding. I think that's clear. I don't need to be redundant on it. So if we agree on this, it's crazy, Sister Muhammad. I listen. I don't know what to say. And what they're trying to pass off, like I love MD's shouts out to MD, man. I love his explanation. If all of us think it, if a group of people think it, it can't be freedom. What? What? What does a group, does it affect the group? Yeah. Well, it's not freedom. What? What? So a group of people can't have freedom. Freedom isn't all of us simultaneously can't enjoy freedoms. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But when you, that's the problem with not breaking it. Y'all miss me over there. I kept you guys straight. Y'all miss me over there because y'all really are biting into what you're selling one another. You over there espousing that rhetoric, MD Black Sun, talking about that's a good point. I'm like, they tripping. Maybe I do need to get high on life. If y'all don't smoke, I might need to stop smoking because y'all tripping. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But I said, listen, here's what I said I have to do. I said that, yeah. I said, here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to. Now, if I drop the link, you know the rules, Miss Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? We got to be gentle. You know, it's the Maroon Society. All are welcome from their personal attack, but you can beat that. You can beat their belief to crapping back. But you got to be gentle. And also, I want to play this. I want to play this Malcolm too. So I'm gonna but I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Let me put the link out here, cause you know the people have a right to address this buffoonery, man. You guys need to stop that. Amani Nico, man, power, man. Shouts out, power to the dark side. Peace, Star Seed. I appreciate you following through. No, I had to listen. I had to come back. I've been listening to my former team. Them still some good guys. This is not a personal attack. Them still some good guys to me as far as we talking about. They, albeit confused, you know. And I think what happened is I think we let MD off the porch a little too soon. He has a big bark, but his, you know, what he's biting for is very questionable. So, you know, I definitely will accept those challenges and debates that he laid out gladly. But you know, I thought I had dispelled a few myths. I thought that I had shined light on maybe misconceptions. Now I realize that it isn't misconceptions. I'm beginning to believe that it's deliberate misdirection. Deliberate misdirection, because I'm listening to them and I'm thinking about, you know, the teachings of Malcolm and what we said. I'm like, this doesn't coincide with what we believe. This isn't the mindset of the black nationalists. This is the mindset of the other. And I don't want to be derogatory. I don't like to dehumanize, or y'all know me, man. I'm Mr. Polite. I don't give a damn. I have a booming voice in this. I sometimes can be over, you know, trying to find middle ground. Even at times it has cost me ground, you know. But I said, you know what? Maybe I'm too nice in saying it. Maybe I don't want to hurt feelings. I'm gonna have to let Malcolm say it. So with that, let me go to what brother. Let me bring the sister up too before we go to brother
Thank
Malcolm.
you.
Peace.
Peace. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sister. How are you?
Yeah, I'm wonderful. Great. Can't complain. But anyway, look, I'm not getting ready to talk about them people because more than anything, I am so disappointed.
Mm,
If I felt any kind of way, it would be totally disillusioned and hurt by Black Sun. But other than that, Since it's war, war is war. And
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, getting back to the nationalist stuff. Um, First of all, let me give you some history.
Okay.
Malcolm X was 20 something years old when he came into the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of a relationship he had developed with the messenger while he was still in prison. Uh, Another brother that was very close to the messenger introduced Malcolm to the messenger. Matter of fact, he front ran for Malcolm to get him in the nation and so that he would be able to get to know the messenger. So Malcolm was like 26, 27, 28, 29 by the time he got out of jail and joined the nation around maybe 1952-ish. Okay. So Malcolm got out of jail. He started processing. He came to the nation. He began to start processing with the other FOIs, like my brother, like my father, my uncles, and all the rest of the brothers, the messenger's son, Wallace and Elijah too, and all of them. So he joined the ranks. And as the messenger began to watch his work, and he seen how eloquently he could speak, because again, the messenger is the one that told him what to do while he was in jail for them last few years before he got released.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was to study the dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Malcolm had studied. That's all he had to do. And then let's deal with the real. He was Big Red. They used to call him Red out in the streets because he was a pimp, a player, a con man. He loved white women at the time and all that good stuff. But when he came to the nation, he changed and he became a very harsh fighter for justice for black people.
Right.
But all this stuff about nationalism, you know, first of all, if he was a nationalist, he got it from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad
Mm-hmm.
because Malcolm knew nothing about black people and how and wanting to be black and just live a normal black
Uh,
life.
no, 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 no. I can't let you do that to brother
No,
Malcolm.
no, no,
That's a
no.
whole
This is
nother show. Cause his
okay. Well, we
father,
won't go
look
there.
who his
No, no, no,
look
no.
who his
I'm not getting
father
ready to
was.
talk about
His father was a minister in the Universal Negro Improvement Association.
Well,
Malcolm was his
but I'm not saying he didn't know nothing about black people
okay.
life. I'm just saying he wasn't interested in doing stuff like
Oh yeah,
fight for
absolutely.
justice and all that.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
Yanga, be nice to me. Be nice to me,
I'm
Yanga, because
being
I'm not trying
nice.
to dispute you.
Okay, I am being nice, and I appreciate because I want you to hold it. I do want to go into. I think people need to know a little bit more about Malcolm, like you're bringing intimately. See, there's going to be a side of Malcolm,
But I want
because
you
a
to
lot of us.
understand something. No, okay, let me break it
Let
down
me.
because I'm very persistent. But
Mm,
I just want to make it I just want people to get in the minds. Malcolm was not in the nation nothing but about 10, 12 years before he left. And he left on his own because whether y'all want to believe it or not, he just was not that well developed to understand the teacher and the student relationship. And
mm,
Malcolm X was still a young man, and you know how young men feel in the
mm,
ages of 20, from 25 to 35. By the
mm,
time he was killed, he was only 39 years old. He was still a young
mm,
man. So
mm.
you know how young men think. You can see that today
It's
with the age you are compared to like
right to
Lex.
how I was. I think
Right, right.
listen, and yeah, and like you said, these young men. Listen, I don't want to go. I want to go into that talk about Malcolm, but this particular talk is a particular speech. I
But
want to
I just
go.
want to look, Nyanga, I just want to make a difference. I just want to say this. This is why I jumped up here. Y'all keep talking about Malcolm X, but by the time he started UNIA, he was Shabazz. He was Malik El Shabazz. He was not Malcolm X anymore. Malcolm, the
Mm,
X come from the nation.
mm,
And only being in the nation can you really use the X.
mm,
So
mm,
he was not no more Malcolm X. When he went over to Africa, came back and was dealing with white Africans and white
mm.
Muslims and all
I
that, He had became Malik El
Yeah,
Shabazz.
I get it, but you know,
So that's who y'all in love with. Y'all not in love with Malcolm X
no,
because
I get it.
Malcolm X was gone by
I
19 by
absolutely,
June 1964. He was not Malcolm X anymore.
I
And
absolutely.
then y'all keep trying to connect him to the nation
No, we don't.
when he
No,
was no
listen,
longer
sister.
part of the nation,
I
and
agree,
he
but
didn't want to be part of the nation. So he
absolutely.
left. He
Okay.
left because he
Yes, he
wanted to
did.
pick up arms. He wanted to pick up
Right.
rifles,
I
and we
agree,
did not
sister.
want that.
Right,
Okay?
sister.
All
Sister,
right then.
let me concur with you.
Okay.
Let me concur. Let me totally concur with you.
Now I'm just
You
tired
don't
of all
have
this
to.
misconstrue.
Okay,
I'm
hold
tired of
on,
all this
sister.
lying on the messenger.
Don't make me do it every time. This is a free speech, but you can't overdo it. Here it is.
Go
Malcolm,
ahead.
absolutely. But now here's my thing. Here's my indictment against the Nation of Islam. See how vehemently you're pushing that? The
Go
Nation of
ahead.
Islam has commercialized. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. I'm
Can you
listening.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
The Nation of Islam has commercialized on the image of Malcolm X, probably more than anybody.
Wait a minute, but
If listen,
y'all ain't got you
because
talk
you
about
got
Farrakhan.
no,
You
I
talking about Farrakhan.
listen.
That's
Well,
not
then
me.
it's up to you guys to get your house in order. If you're
No, it
commercializing
ain't no
image
you.
and
It ain't
pushing
no
up
you,
the
Yanga.
if I say because I can say El Mahaj, Malik Shabazz, Omar Walamu, we
That's
can
what
say
you should
all those
call him.
names.
You
But
especially.
we will when we do something talking about brother X, brother Malcolm X, I will teach on that. Right now, this particular thing isn't that, but you can't complain because you let a section of your nation commercialize an image and name. I agree. He been removed from that. He totally couldn't. I couldn't divorce him farther from that type of thinking. I think we get the evolved Malcolm, Omawalamu. I think we extract more out of it. But it's up to I can't beat commercialization. You guys have to champion that. He was not. He was not. So I do respect you come and champion it, but you got to talk about capitalism and greed creeping within the nation. What's sacred and profane and what isn't? Y'all sold the X. Shit, Spike Lee did a whole movie. Y'all ain't snatching his ass up. No disrespect. Let me get to my thing. Let me bring the sister back up. Did she drop?
Yanga.
Peace to the chat. I didn't even come up here.
Yanga, I hit
Let me
the
bring the
wrong button.
sister
I'm
back up.
sorry.
There you go, sister.
Yeah, I
I,
hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
all right. Assalamu alaikum. Please allow
Like,
me.
salam.
Let me get to what Malcolm is teaching
Well,
because
wait a
this
minute,
is
Yanga. Let me ask you something. I hear you say all the time. How can anybody tell you about something that you was living and been living all your life? How y'all gonna tell me about the nation when I was born and raised up in the nation way back in the 50s? How you gonna tell me something about Malcolm when I was right there listening to him, playing with me and his little girls was almost the same age? Matter of fact, I'm older than Atala. So how y'all gonna tell me about
I'm not.
Malcolm?
I am not trying to tell you about Malcolm. I'm telling you
Well,
about
let me tell you this.
commercialization.
The Nation of
I
Islam that
agree
I
with
was
you.
part of, Yanga, is
Yeah.
gone. It's been gone since 1975. So the nation y'all are talking about is Farrakhan's nation. And it has
Then,
nothing to do with the believers
okay.
who followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Then what we will do, sister Aaliyah, sister
Yes, sir.
Muhammad, I respect that. I will personally dedicate a show to the truth, to dispelling the myths of the true
Oh,
nation
thank
of
you.
Islam and I will host it with you and allow you to do your thing and break that
Oh,
down.
thank you.
I think that's important.
Well,
All
I
right.
think it is too, my brother,
All
because
right.
we want people to know the truth. See, that's what y'all don't hear Lex, do you? Y'all don't hear Lex when he talking. And that young man
Yeah.
has really gave me hope for the future for our youth because of what he's saying and how he
Mm,
comes. But he gives homage to all of our elders who came with knowledge to help us bridge a gap between slavery and being unslaved, not being a
mm.
slave anymore, rather. And I appreciate that. But y'all can't tell me about the nation. I know when the doors close.
We're gonna hey,
Okay.
listen, that's
So
why
when
we're
we
gonna
gonna do it? When we gonna do it?
when we
When you
gonna
gonna do
let me run this one. Let me run this one. Let me do this one
it?
first, Sister Muhammad, and you will
I'm
see it.
just
And you
being a
will see
woman.
it.
Women like to
Hey,
get things done.
listen, and like to be on it. That'll be the next one. I wanted to talk about Blue, shouts out to Lex. Shouts out to the dark side. I wanted to talk about Blues Live too, with that
Mm-hmm.
dude outside the cube. Now listen, I like him, so you can come back. We can do that one too, because that was I haven't seen all of the video. I had to stop short. I wanted to do this one. I also
Okay.
had some
Okay.
things to run around here. But Miss Muhammad, allow me to do this one because I gotta address my teammates. Right now, this is
Oh yeah,
game
I
time.
get it.
We got
I
to.
get it.
All right. So what I
And I
want
got to get ready for homeschooling anyway.
all
But I
right,
just wanted to jump on before my girls get up and start class. Right.
okay. Thank you for
But I'll
so
be listening. I'll be listening.
when will be the best hour to do that program for
Well, you know what? Monday through Friday, we're busy between 11 and 3. That's when I have the girls in class, right?
you?
So I'm cool after 3 o'clock every day.
Okay. Okay, after 3.
So
We'll look to
when it's up
sometime
to
after
you,
3.
it's up to you. Your
Okay.
convenience.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let you I'll get in contact. I'll let you know. I'll really give
And
you that slot. We'll do that.
thank you so much. And
You're
I'm
welcome.
glad to
Listen,
see
I bet them
that you are
girls smart.
waking up and seeing some things very
Give
clear
thanks.
now.
Give thanks. I appreciate that. Well, I bet those girls are smart as if you're this tough on those girls, I bet they're brilliant.
Listen, they're
Cuz y'all
learning languages from other countries. They're learning
yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
engineering, different aspects of the engineering. They're, yes, because what am I supposed to do? I am
Okay.
the God of the universe. The Black
Mhm.
woman is God too. And I have to do what I have to do to make sure other guys that come on this planet are smart and ready. But you know what, Yanga? The one thing y'all are missing about what we need to do out here to change our condition
Mhm.
is to get back to morality. We need
Listen,
to
don't
get back
start
to
me another show.
righteousness.
Yo, you need to time out. That's a whole nother. Let me do this. Let me do.
Well,
You
I'm
give me
here
such
for you,
good
nigga.
material.
You know I
I
loved you. You know
I
I
I
loved
know
your ass. That's why
I
I've been
know.
so mad at you.
I appreciate. Well, I
I
appreciate the love
respect
and
you.
nothing
You
received.
know I respect
Thank you.
my brothers,
Thank you. Thank you.
especially when they show they self-respectful. And I never saw anything bad in you. But I just couldn't
I have my
understand why you
moments.
gonna turn on your sister.
I have my
You
moments.
know,
I don't.
Muslims supposed to
That's.
have each other's back.
I know it. We listen. We have our moments. I have my
All right,
moments.
then.
So
Thank you.
it's a conversation. All right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
love. I'm
Appreciate you.
listening.
All right. Appreciate you following
Okay, I'm
through, man.
listening to what Malcolm gonna say, and we're gonna talk about Malcolm too. That traitor, the traitor,
I
Malcolm
knew
X.
you had. I knew you had to go. Listen, so I knew that was coming. I've been in. I had some pure. I call them pure Nation Islam Muslims. When I was parenting up in Cleveland, we had a picture of Malcolm. They walked. They turned their fucking back. I had never seen something like that. It was crazy. All right, Miss Muhammad, we're gonna talk about
Okay.
that because that looks into going into.
Look, let's get it popping. Let's get it popping.
Okay.
Ain't gonna be no
Oh,
debate. We just gonna put the tough
yeah.
stuff
No.
out there on
Just
the table and see how people
absolutely.
see it.
It's our history. We
That's
got to
right.
put it out there from
Gotta
it
put it out
belongs to
there.
us. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Shouts out.
All right.
All
Salam
right.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, my sister. Shouts out to Miss Muhammad. Thank her for falling through, man, sharing with us, coming on here. Now I got some good topics, some good shit to bring to y'all. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Come through, hit that like button. If you're up in here, you just falling through, man. You can hate from the clouds. I ain't asking you to get in the chat. Just hit the like button, man. Show a brother some love and some support. If you just falling through the love to hate it, make sure that I keep producing the material that you love to hate. So here it is. um, Malcolm, I had to talk to my teammates, man. Miss Muhammad came through with the great fucking topics, and we all over the place and distracted me a little bit. But going back, man, I had to address my teammates because they're my ex teammates. We shit, they're all right, yeah. But some of the things that they're getting away with, absolutely outlandish, absolutely outlandish. So, we had to go through. I got to go through. Let me start putting some of the Lex already start. He's starting in. I guess I gotta finish watching that thing with you and outside the cube. I guess you in fighting mode now. You done brought that fight over to me. You always talk about you just open up with the criticism. I ain't even showed the video yet, Lex. Let me put my buddy Lex's comment. Damn, man, let me at least show the video. Let me show the video first, man. Peace, Lex. Peace out there again. Shouts out to the dark side, man. Peace to the chat. Peace for everybody falling through. But I had to address my brothers, man. you know, because there's a certain mentality you got to have for this thing. So I ain't gonna hold it up. Let me get to the let me get to the video. Let me let Malcolm do his thing. So I'm gonna let Malcolm do his thing. Make sure I put this on mute. Oh.
They lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic.
All right, what we looking like? Man, I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all absolutely the fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Y'all rocking out. I'm gonna get it together. And when I get it together, I'm gonna be absolutely dangerous. I'm gonna try it one more time. If not, man, we're just gonna freestyle and have a little rap session until I can get it together because I wanted to do this just kind of putting giving my teammates an opportunity, a choice. Like I said, I have to revoke the Black Nationalist card. If y'all want that card back, you're gonna have to defend it. Challenging for that card. And if it doesn't, to make maybe you're being misguided, or not misguided, you're confused or delusional. This, with separating the mentalities, we had a consensus over there at the arena that Malcolm X was the father of modern black nationalism. I said, well, maybe Malcolm could teach this better than I could. So I wanted Malcolm to describe the different personalities. And if you don't hear your rhetoric in what Malcolm is saying, then you are absolutely trying to misdirect the people. Absolutely sold out. Let's see.
The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. There was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro say, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees? If so, you need
If the master
So that's a point to take note. First point. Say he identified with the master in every way. What's the matter, master? We sick? He identifies with the master in every way. If the master house catch on fire, this Negro will work harder to put the fire out than master would. If the flames of discontent to racism and discrimination and oppression start to raise their head, the very fire, passion to change the situation, these Negroes will put it out quicker than master will. They'll respond for certain solutions, for certain answers to put the fire out quicker than master will. I mean, we got to just start listening to the language. And dear brother Malcolm is going to get even more insightful. That's just a tidbit. That's just, that's the chocolate covered coating. He hadn't even hit the
master got sick. The house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, Let's escape. Let's separate. That house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this?
Huh? I mean, we talking the teachings of Malcolm here. That's why I said I had to let the master teacher break it down from we saying he's the father of modern black nationalism. He said, where are you going to find a better house and show me something better than the Constitution? Show me a place, show me where you got something better for this oppression that you receiving. Separate, man, you crazy. Show me a place better than this. I ain't say it. I'm not, don't be mad at me. You used to like Malcolm, Sister Muhammad, out of respect to Sister Muhammad, Omar Walamu, El Haj Malik Shabazz. Yeah, he said it. When you go to them and say, y'all can't hear it? Y'all can't hear me out there? Tap something in my chat if y'all can hear it or not. Peace to the God. Can you see? Can you hear it though? Can you hear Malcolm Blue? Great show too, man. I didn't finish watching it. Okay. Can you hear Malcolm also, Sister Noble? Thank you for responding. So when you hear Malcolm say, we're going to have a great show, Sister Muhammad. You know I'm a champion Malcolm. You know I'm going to champion Malcolm. I might dispel some things. Okay, I'll play it in a minute. So when you hear him say, man, I hope y'all can catch this. Sister Noble, are you catching this? Somebody give me some feedback because Malcolm is breaking it down. When he's telling them, when you ask him, let's listen, I just go back and play it. Let me go back and play just a tad bit. We're going to start back from that a little bit.
And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today because we still got some house niggers running around here.
Bim. So can y'all hear? You can hear it. So clearly he's laying it out. This is why I said this is Malcolm teaches. My former teammates. I didn't want him to take it personal. I wanted to go on a teacher that we held consensus was the teacher of modern day black nationalism. Malcolm is clearly setting the mentality, setting the stage, setting the tone for what you think he's exposing. Because in this day and time, when you got a people looking for answers, we'll mistakenly think all our skin folk are our kinfolk. All our skin folk are our kinfolk. You know, and clearly when we talk about certain ideologies and certain beliefs, there's a kindredship to this. We might be cousins in it, but we want a same goal, black self-determination, that liberation, black liberation. You're not going to find it with the oppressor, no matter how bad they masqueraded. And so here Malcolm is, he's telling them that when it's brought to him, let's separate that, man, you crazy. Where you going to find a place better than this? He feeds us pretty nice. You know, okay, good. He feeds us pretty nice. He treats us pretty nice. You know, this is this house Negro. He said 9 times we call him a house nigga. This is Malcolm making reference. Let's go back to let Malcolm teach it though. Take it back just a notch on
This
that.
modern house Negro clothes than this. Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today, because we still got some house niggers running around here. This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here. I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro. And if
begins to set up a classism. No disrespect, son. Boom, y'all be sounding familiar to that. I don't know if I call MD saying it as much, but I don't know if he's concurring. I have this job. I do this. I own my business, nigga. Holding capitalism as a standard of excellence. I have a house, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You find that this mindset, like Brother Malcolm said, man, I'm the only Negro in a 3-mile radius. I questioned the Black Nationalists. I began to listen. I was like, man, you be identifying with them as well. Maybe you might be a little better with some brown pride. Some la raza arriba. I don't know. You be kind of getting down with my Latino brothers, for the most part. I ain't mad at that. But we have to look at some of the similarities. Homogenization, assimilation is the order of the day for this Negro that has bit into the American society and the dream of America, and America holding its standards and his or her wealth being found or founded within that. I don't know. Y'all have to tell me about it. Y'all have to tell me about it. Let's see.
someone come to you right now and say, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean separate? From America? This good white man? Where you gonna get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say. Why you left your mind in Africa.
You say, what's good, white man?
On that same plantation, there was the field Negro. The field Negro, those were the masses. There was always more Negroes in the field than there was Negroes in the house. The Negro in the field caught hell. He ate leftovers. In the house, they ate high up on the hull. The Negro in the
You hear what the dear brother said? Dear brother said that it was always more Negroes in the field, more niggas in the field than in the house. See, now we start seeing the vested interests of the house Negro, the house nigga. To maintain, you have to be in a certain position for their position to be maintained. This is why they push the individualism, the group thing. This is why they push on you, trying to get you to believe you free. Because you can brush your motherfucking teeth, or because you got health care. Because therefore you're demanding that America take care of their motherfucking enslaved, indentured servants. I'm not gonna degrade slavery like that. Indentured servants. And you're telling us that we should be thankful that these motherfuckers that have us in indentured servitude give us health care or consider us for some shit and be merry and have merriment about the trinkets you allowed to play with while you suffer in misery. While you suffer in misery. I agree with that. I agree with that, Blue. That's why I said, man, some of the stuff, man, you know, some of the stuff, man, I'm like, they going way far. I was like, man, was I out there like that? Because they going way far, you know. But let's get back to what Malcolm said. So this is what he said that they're telling you even today. This modern house nigga will tell you, if you leave, man, where you gonna go to get what job you gonna get? That's their standard of excellence. What job you gonna get? Where you gonna go work? Not generational wealth. Typical Americanism. Consume, consume, consume till you die like a fucking goldfish. What job you gonna get? Work, eat, sleep, shit. Little time to play with your wife. If you squeeze some out, squeeze some children out, and that lessens that time. Now you gotta provide for them, this and that. You call that existence and pass that on as something to be aspired to. It's what we actually teaching our children. Regulating the working class, and some of you know that. Some of you push that because either secretly you're hoping to be included in a class that don't want you. Lex, you still be off, man. Respect you. Yes, you were sounding like them 2 weeks ago, but by the power of the dark side. Man, I don't know what to do. It wouldn't be a YouTube without Lex, man. Shouts out to the dark side again. Shouts out to Lex, man. I appreciate you falling through, always contributed. I'm going to finish listening to Blue Show too, Lex. I think I want to do something on that. I don't know, man. From what I heard right up until you jumped on is where I had to leave off. That outside the cube, yo, I don't know. I mean, you know, he's a young Thundercat, so he's brass and he's brazen, but he's standing boldly on some shit. I was like, oh. So that's a whole nother thing. I want to get back to this though. I want to get back to this. You know, listen, man. I wouldn't accept it if you didn't come over here and throw a couple shots, man. I don't even think I'd be worth my salt on YouTube. I'd be like, is the nigga ignoring me? I probably start throwing shots at you, bro. I'm fucking with you. But no, man. So I mean, Malcolm lays it out clear, and it's so eerily similar to what I hear my brother saying. So this is, you know, listen to the prophet Malcolm. If we're gonna go into scriptures of old. Listen to the prophet Malcolm and heed the prophecies, heed the dire warnings of being those that have gone astray to the path of house Negrodom. Stay off that fucking path, yo. But I'm wondering if you're misdirected on the path, have erroneously stumbled on the path, or are you an agent of the path intentionally calling others astray? It begins to make you wonder. Like, because I listen and I'm like, either this is the greatest fucking form of sensationalism or these niggas have bumped their fucking heads. Real shit. Let's go back to Malcolm, man. I don't want to take from Malcolm, man, but I mean, you know, something to think about.
In the field didn't get nothing but what was left of the insides of the hog. They call them chitlins nowadays. In the field, then there was Negroes in the house. The Negro in the field caught hell. He ate leftovers. In the house, they ate high up on the hog. The Negro in the field didn't get nothing but what was left of the insides of the hog. They call them chitlins nowadays. In those days, they call them what they were, guts. That's what you were, a gut eater. And some of you are all still gut eaters. The field Negro was beaten from morning till night. He lived in a shack, in a hut. He wore cast-off clothes, and he hated his master. I say he hated his master. He was intelligent. That house Negro loved his master. But that field Negro, remember, they were in the majority.
Let's talk about that. He said that field Negro hated his master. He said he hated his master. He said he was in the huts, in the field, the toil, the labor, the ones that built this motherfucker up and wasn't receiving while the house niggas in there high off the hog, eating the crumbs of the exploiter, eating the crumbs of the motherfucking cracker who sends people out there to crack the whip. While you behind the women, got a gun line, boss. I'ma kills me one of these New York cities. Tell me about the gun line, boss. Well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, think about this shit. You benefiting, eating, wearing their old tattered clothes, and that's good enough for you because you looking out the window. You don't want, you don't want what they have. You don't want what they have. You don't even want to be equal. You just want to be accepted. Your place is good enough right here. Well, it's going to be better than this. We wear the finest rags. We eat the finest slop. These way ain't eating the pig gut. We get the pigs. Can we get something and throw it out there? And I don't, I don't eat khanzir. I don't eat swine. But look at the ingenuity and brilliance of my people. Threw it out there and they turned it into a delicatessen. A delicacy, or whatever they call that shit. Fancy word for good eating. That type shit. This is what you give us scraps and we brought that shit back. That was our fortitude, our ingenuity, our brilliance, our knowing what to do, how to make it go on. But we didn't enjoy that shit. It wasn't our prime choice. We didn't say, give us the goddamn guts. You keep all the ham and everything else. But since y'all got to be in the house with the aroma, I got a good job. I got it this. I got it that. You getting scraps, some residuals from the master who's exploiting the field niggas, us who's getting you your scraps and shit. Those of us being exploited by these corporations and shit like that. I ain't saying it just falls on you. I get it. You an individualist. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. It's like, shit, I got to work. What am I doing? But how many, that very dirt and shit y'all hauling, how many black people have been displaced out of them homes that have been destroyed to bring in bigger industry, bigger corporations at the expansion of robotization and automation and all this other shit, basically putting humans out of work, creating a bigger unemployment. Pretty soon they ain't going to need y'all asses. Y'all might live through it, but since y'all don't think about y'all children, y'all don't give a fuck about that long as you made it through. I'm talking about posterity, not your house now. You willing to put that house up for a college fund for your child? How many of your children have we given a head start or not to have to start where we were? Are your children going to start in the exact same motherfucking spot you started in? Is that your American dream? Oh, you got to get off. You got to play. Fuck around and your children be amongst the field niggas. So this field nigga absolutely this field nigga absolutely hated his motherfucking master. He absolutely hated, they absolutely hated their motherfucking master. They weren't disillusioned. They weren't close enough to that or in that proximity to be poisoned by that bullshit. And they wasn't hearing that bullshit that y'all was spewing. That the house, I said, yo, that the house Negro was spewing. Let's go back to our dear brother.
And they hated the master.
We found Sprizzy through a Google search, pretty much. I was looking for a way to market our YouTube videos.
When the house caught on fire, he didn't try and put it out. That field Negro prayed for a wind, for a breeze. When the master got sick, the field Negro prayed that he died. If someone come to the field Negro and said, let's separate, let's run, he didn't say, where are we going? He said, any place is better than here.
That's when my reality came in. You know, shout out to Lex too, man, and Dark Side. The first time, I had to be honest, I was introduced to Black Land. That's when my reality kicked in. Yeah, let's pick it, Lex. Let's talk about Black Land. Let's, you know, talk about the rights and shit that we don't have there as a form of why are we excluded citizenry? Nigga, I'm fighting to get over there. Why I can't vote because I say Allah or some shit. I'm fighting to get in a place that we separating. I didn't know y'all was turning it down saying that we can't do it. That's a big motherfucking difference. There's constructive criticism and there's destructive criticism. If you tearing it down to say something we can't do, I believe in the absolute greatness and excellence of us, that there's nothing we can do, especially if it's one, a necessity, and two, if we put our mind to it. Just that damn simple. There is nothing that we can do. So I think that's when the reality struck in on me, like when it began to ease in on, especially, I was too close to really hear it. I was busy on the, defending our platform of freedom. I began to see it wasn't free when I felt like I was like, we were getting off our charter. I'm like, oh, okay, man, we don't usually take this direction, bruh. You know what I'm saying? This is less than honorable, bruh. We said we want to. So, and that's water under a bridge. Give thanks to the universe. Acknowledge the ancestors and that's water under the bridge. However, when now that I'm over in the society, I'm sitting back in the Maroon Society, man, doing my ting and looking and just listening. I'm trying to figure, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like, do y'all really believe this stuff y'all saying, or are y'all going back listening to that? And MD, you are pulling the most smoke and mirror hocus pocus with this freedom thing. Malcolm just said, he said that the majority of the field niggas was in the masses. So if those masses want freedom as a group, then they're not free. What kind of ridiculousness are you really trying to push on the people? That a group of people can't be free? I had never heard it. Or that white supremacy doesn't exist because people have entitlement. Hell, the LGBTQ community is a point of white supremacy. Once again, they rather give a white sissy rights than protect your black ass. You just don't see it. They be like, okay, we got to make a choice. The gay community, y'all don't get mad at me if you want, gay community, rolled out. I remember when y'all was hollering, gay is the new black. You did what every fucking people do. Ride our motherfucking history of civil rights, of disobedience, rebellion, and outright revolution, of motherfucking energy, psychic power, and spiritual power. You rob us of that. Because first you participate and join in. We so happy to have an ally in this struggle of ours called Black struggle. Then it gets fragmented. And people start to cipher the power. The Palestinian people did it. The motherfucking Jewish people do it. Every people do it. They play on our disloyalty and disallegiance or a lack of unification to further their struggle. So this is what the LGBTQ I think it's some nuance to it. This is what they had done. This is my opinion. You can say it's conjecture. It's purely my opinion. But I believe this is what was done. And so you see even white supremacy in that. Before they will give you rights, you can still be called a nigger. You can literally you can literally be called a nigger. And there be no reprisals and repercussions legally. Like I said, I mean, right now the hot thing is Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm gonna keep bringing that up. So yeah, man, you know, some of that what you pulling is smoke and mirrors, brother. Some of that is what you was pulling is smoke and mirrors when you're saying that on the people, and then you guys to say that because uh white supremacists are anti-homosexual, that that isn't white supremacy. Come on, man. If y'all don't get away with that Kentucky Ku Klux Klan back hillbilly type of shit, white supremacy is so subtle. It has its brazen fucking effects and propaganda and in your face type shit, tiki torches and all this old bullshit, but it also has that underlining air. And I refuse to believe, son, if you were special forces, you don't know about subterfuge and espionage. That's what wants to lead me to believe, is this intentional or not? MD, I just would think you would know just from being a black man that white supremacy exists, but I get it. Escapism is real. Escapism isn't just for, I've allowed you guys to use and weaponize escapism for radical Pan-Africanists or radical black nationalists, and I've allowed that. But escapism also affects you neo-colonized Negroes greatly. And I hear escapism in your rhetoric by still trying to cover up the blatant bullshit of discrimination, racism, a fucking history of racism, and not just the history of racism, a presence of racism, and the way that it's going. Look at Jackson, Mississippi. It may quite possibly be a future of racism and discrimination. And you say white supremacy don't fucking exist. Oh yeah, but they had freedoms. What freedoms? When you have a plan, you're talking about it. That's the other thing I want to address. This system shit, bro. This system shit, bro. The system isn't neutral. If they weaponize the system is in their favor. There's no way around it. I'm just taught of them. I believe this is an ideology. Yeah, and the system is the actualization, the manifestation, the tangible. The system is the methodology. You have the ideology, and then you have the methodology. The system has become their methodology to implement the ideology of white supremacy. What about that don't you get? There's no getting around that. They've used the police force, the school system, religion, healthcare, all of that shit, gentrification, the system, to weaponize and reinforce, to entrench and reinforce white supremacy. There's no way you could believe that doesn't exist or be trying to push that to the people, man. Trinkets. Trinkets. That's what Malcom was talking about, the house nigga, the field nigga. Are you getting trinkets? You wearing the rags, you wearing a little this, a little that. Let's go back to it, because I ain't going to be long on it.
You got field Negroes in America today. I'm a field Negro. The masses are the field Negroes. When they see this man's house on fire, you don't hear these little Negroes talking about our government is in trouble. They say the government is in trouble. Imagine a Negro, our government. I even heard one say our astronauts. They won't even let him near the plant. And our astronauts, our Navy, that's a Negro that's out of his mind. That's a Negro that's out of his mind. Just as the slave master in that day used Tom, the house Negro, to keep the field Negroes in check, the same old slave master today has Negroes who are nothing but modern Uncle Toms, 20th century Uncle Toms, to keep you and me in check, keep us under control, keep us passive and peaceful and nonviolent. That's Tom making you nonviolent. It's like when you go to the dentist and the man is going to take your tooth. You're going to fight him when he starts pulling. So they squirt some stuff in your jaw called Novocaine to make you think they're not doing anything to you. So you sit there, and because you got all that Novocaine in your jaw, you suffer peacefully.
Let's talk about that. And I'm going to take it back so we get again. You know what he said? He said, it's like you go in the dentist, they got you going through all this, and if you were going in there unnumbed, you would fight if the dentist went in there and got you too. But he put that Novocaine in. You want you to suffer peacefully. What's that Novocaine? These inducements and these enticements. When every time when you talk about separation, when you talk about the labor and the sacrifice of separation, they hit you with the Novocaine. What about your video game? What about you this? What about you that? Now, basic amenities, I ain't gonna shit. You're gonna need your health care. You're gonna need all your basic. Let's get an infrastructure. See, that's why I come in. I believe in separation. Let's make it practical then. Let's build with them. We may have to argue with their ass a bit. We may have to bump. We may have to tussle. What nation isn't built out of toil? Especially if all the people are seeking. See, if I don't let Lex get away with that shit, if I find my salvation in black land and be like, fuck you, you ain't gonna lead me to these motherfucking crackers. Me and you'll be in this motherfucker tussling and debating. I am getting a spot. Then we're gonna help to contribute to a black land. There's no way I'm gonna advocate my people staying or remaining on a sinking ship. I'd rather deal with his antics and tactics. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look to contributing to bring it to fruition. Like he said, when you ask the field Negro where you want to go, let's separate. He said, shit, any place is better than here. Any place is better than here. I'll work to make that motherfucker better. I'm working here. What do you mean? Put in the work, put in the effort, do all of that here. How many more hundreds of motherfucking years they want? What do you mean? Shit. If we had that, we'd never be that because that was forced labor. But can you imagine that unification power of a couple hundred years building our own shit? Why would I want to keep going? That's like, man, I'm no goddamn fool. I run these streets, or used to. I know a hustle, a con. And you telling me to keep investing in this, and they hit me with this Novocaine, like I'm going to win someday in this shit? No. Now I know the fix is in. I played. Fix is in, fellas. Fix is in. You can't keep, I'm not going to let you inject me with the Novocaine, man. Let's go back. Let's let dear brother Malcom rap his rap.
When he started pulling. So they squirt some stuff in your jaw called Novocaine to make you think they're not doing anything to you. So you sit there, and because you got all that Novocaine in your jaw, you suffer peacefully. Blood running all down your jaw. And you don't know what's happening because someone has taught you to suffer peacefully. The white man do the same thing to you in the street. When he gonna want to put knots on your head and take advantage of you and don't have to be afraid of you fighting back. To keep you from fighting back, he get these old religious Uncle Toms to teach you and me. They're just like Novocaine, suffer peacefully. Don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. As Reverend Cleave pointed out, let your blood flow in the streets. This is a shame.
Military gadgets are changing people's physique, and here's why. These military special forces are becoming stronger fast by breathing in 200%.
Wait a minute, did y'all see that devil? Did y'all see that cracker? That cracker gonna bust his motherfucking chest. Did y'all see that? That devil on all kind of medication. That motherfucking shit swole up like, man, that devil gonna bust his motherfucking chest. Y'all see what y'all fighting? These motherfuckers are unnatural. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, if you ever have to encounter one within your rights, then he's violating your, man, put him down. Don't hesitate. Don't play with him. Don't play with him. Put that motherfucking ass down. See, these motherfuckers on all kind of drugs and shit. All right, let me go back to it. Just fucked me up. That shit was crazy looking.
And you know he's a Christian preacher. If it's a shame to him, you know what it is to me. Because nothing in our book, the Quran, as you call it, Quran, teaches us to suffer peacefully. Our religion teaches us to be intelligent, be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone. But if someone puts his hand on you, send him to the cemetery. That's a good religion. In fact, that's that all-time religion. That's the one that Ma and Pa used to talk about. An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth, and a head for a head, and a life for a life. That's a good religion. And then anybody, no one resents that kind of religion being taught but a wolf who intends to make you his meal. This is the way it is with the white man in America. He's a wolf, and you're a sheep. Anytime a shepherd, a pastor, teach you and me not to run from the white man, and at the same time teach us don't fight the white man, he's a traitor to you and me. Don't lay down our life all by itself. No. Preserve your life. It's the best thing you got. And if you got to give it up, let it be even
motherfucking stupid. Even motherfucking stupid. Is that simple? Oh, that's some good teaching. That's what I'm talking about.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control them. The same strategy that was used in those days is used today.
See what he did? Say he gave him a coat, a top hat, and made the other slaves look up to him, establishing classism, particularly a cultural classism interwoven into economic classism. What do I mean by that? What are you talking about, Brother Yanga? That the homogenization and assimilation was rewarded. The closer you behaved as white people, then the better reward. The closer you look to white people, if you could speak diction, like Malcolm said, they would train them to a certain degree, teach them to reinforce that white culture. That is a white supremacist culture. That in itself, setting up that classism, forcing other people to look up to that, to hold that to the measure of standards of success, is white supremacy in itself. You think that what you're calling freedom, those thoughts of freedom and these ideas that have freedom haven't been implanted in you? Like I heard you say one of the most, I think most man, against the Agungun, against the ancestors, one of the most inflammatory, probably asinine, silly, really, MD, you said some silly ass shit one day on the live. I mean, some absolutely dumbass shit when you was like, the slaves couldn't comprehend freedom. I almost fell the fuck out. I couldn't believe you had said that. I used to endorse some of the shit you said at times. But when you had said that the slaves couldn't comprehend freedom because freedom was given to us, this concept of a freedom was given to us by America, I could have failed the fuck out. At first. At first. This is what brought this table. I had to go back and search Malcolm. I had to be like, oh, Agungun, oh, great spirits. Shit, I got mystical in this bitch. You threw me, bruh. I was like, he can't be fucking serious, man. Slaves couldn't comprehend freedom, and freedom was given to us by America. I first was like, this brother can't be dead serious. Not the great MD. However, when I began to put two and two together, dear brother, I realized that for your perspective is absolutely right. America has given you your concept of freedom. You're domesticated. And I say that with all due respect. You're a domesticated Negro. You're absolutely right. You don't have a concept of liberation for yourself. You can't think outside the construct. This is why you're very defensive of the so-called system. This is why you are trying to remove at worst white supremacy, but at best masquerade the white supremacy in the system, or the fact that the system is now a white supremacist instrument of oppression and subjugation to a people. So I get you trying to dance around that. I completely understand, because that is your concept of freedom. If you can go to work, if you can pay them bills and shit, if the old lady's cool for a minute, the children are fed, school taxes are paid and shit like that. I get it. I get it. But we can't be so beat down to think that if we had a little more money to pay a few more bills, that would be the solution to our problem. That's what I mean, being caught up in the matrix and the system. When do you break the mode of means of production and distribution and reset them in your fucking favor? You can't do that paying into the system the way that it looks now, because they will already hold. Though when you look at the system, okay, objectively, it's objective, but we have to be a subjective people at times. We have to be, it's called dialectics. Objective, historical materialism, subjective, historical materialism. You know what I'm saying? So objectively, how did history affect us, and subjectively, our participation in the areas that we could participate, or this and that, where does it factor in? And we don't leave our objective to science and theory and all of this. Most African people's objective, they factor in, they don't leave it to, well, you didn't know, so it's just objective. They factor to spirit, universe. In my favor, we kind of lean towards, if I do this, then objectively it should go in my favor. So when I'm looking at your subjective reality, bro, I get it. I get it. But you can't masquerade that as a freedom. I won't tell you it isn't if you don't tell me it is. Can we have the freedom to do that? I won't tell you it isn't if you won't tell me it is. I will just respect the fact that somehow you see your freedom by paying into a system that your oppressor has clearly used and is using against you. Let's go back to our dear brother Malcolm. Let's go back to the chat and Brother Malcolm.
By the same white man. He take a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent, build him up, publicize him, make him a celebrity, and then he becomes a spokesman for Negroes and a Negro leader. I would like to just mention one thing else quickly, and that is the method that the white man uses, how the white man uses these big guns or Negro leaders against the Black Revolution. They are not a part of the Black Revolution. They're used against the Black Revolution. When Martin Luther King failed to desegregate Albany, Georgia, the civil rights struggle in America reached its low point. King became bankrupt almost as a leader. Plus, even financially, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was in financial trouble. Plus, it was in trouble, period, with the people when they failed to desegregate Albany, Georgia. Other Negro civil rights leaders of so-called nationalists.
So yeah, let's rap about it a little bit, man. Let's talk about it a little bit. That was the main part I wanted to get across. I think that my former squad needed a message, and they know that it's done out of sincerity and love. That I think the rhetoric has gone too far. I'm not quite sure if it's sensationalism at this point. At first, I thought, okay, it's a little sensationalism. It's tantalizing. Maybe they're gonna come and prove a point, reel us in with this and that, and then hit us with a strong Black nationalist stance. And yet, it got further and further, deeper and deeper into neo-colonialist white man's mind state. What y'all call them, dark side? Wudugazoo? It got more bizarre, and the statements became more outlandish and outrageous. And like I said, man, and shouts out to GTO, man, dear sister. If she knew the devilment that these gentlemen advocate by promoting America as a safe haven and a safe harbor for Black life and Black existence, if she knew the danger she was actually in, I don't think she would be so quick to laugh at some of their comebacks and retorts. One of the first things they're doing is they aid in assistance to those of us who utilize them. They're already questioning radically and fanatically. They have separated themselves from the masses of the people, from the field Negroes. They've held their station and position in America with these jobs, albeit vicarious. Not vicarious. What's the word I'm looking for? When you're just hanging on to something. It is vicariously, I believe. Vicarious. Always in the balance. Forever at the shifting tides of America. Regardless of how much you think you entrenched. When you begin to look at some of the things that you're doing, what you going to do when you get to non-work? I'm going to retire. How many of them retirees are at Kroger's? Bagging your shit. Big bad truck driver at Waffle House to maintain the very American dream. Because we talk about some of these home ownerships and shit like that, man. Now, I know better than a lot of this shit. Not unless you just hit the jackpot some motherfucking way. And I ain't questioning nobody's shit. You may be homeowner. This and that. I'm not questioning all of that. However, I'm saying, and then are you in a position, have we been in a position to leave something for our seeds? Or do our seeds have to get it out the mud? You know, we'd rather spend 30, 40, 50, 60 more years or however many more years on the planet Earth securing securing our motherfucking self, our immediate gratification, some burn to relieve our ease, our immediate stress, which is never leave. Something my mother told me when I got my first job. Shouts out to McDonald's out there on right there on North Avenue. Got my first job when I moved to 4th Ward Boulevard. Little McDonald's dude. That didn't last long. I ain't gonna lie. This was the 80s. Dope game was cracking. But anyway, that's another story. So I had my little first check, and my mother wanted to teach me responsibility. And so she said, you have to give something to the house. And I had my check with a little punk, $200, $300, whatever. And she took like $50. I thought it was the end of the world. I was 16. I was like, oh my God, Mom, you're killing me. And then I was like, but I got to do this. I got to do this. And I ain't have to do shit. But she said, you know, I'm teaching you this because you always going to owe somebody. You're always going to have to pay a bill. However, pay yourself first or you're going to hate working. Pay yourself first or you're going to hate working. And I thought that that was good advice, because what ends up happening is if you don't find a release, and I'm not saying this is the case of my dear brother MD, but there's symptoms of this, then you think money will be the answer to the problem. If we just got our reparations, if I just got that billion, I could pay this bill off, that bill off, this bill. America is sinking. It's a money pit. You can't throw enough money in this to bail America out to make you feel secure, especially as attached as you and Black Son are to America. You can't throw enough money into it. So I get advocating Black people to participate and be patient and keep adding to it, because it's the pyramid scheme. But these Black people, the field Negro has woken the fuck up, and when they see America on fire like this, they play for a strong win. They need the motherfucker to burn completely to the cinders. Completely down. Why is that? Because from the very beginning, the foundation, the conception or inception of America, that we weren't included. I get what my dear brother Black Son says. He says, but Black people were there. That means fucking nothing. We're everywhere. We were on both ends of the motherfucking slave ship, slave trade, slave participation, reaping the rewards and being the reward. We're every fucking where. We're the Alpha, the Omega. Listen, shouts out to Sister Muhammad. She'll relate to this. We're the owner, the maker, cream of the planet Earth, Father Civilization, God of the universe. Learned that when I was a youngin'. So we're everywhere. We have to check ideology. What are they calling to? And this is why I played Dear Brother Malcolm, or El Haj Malik Shabazz, or Umawalamu. This is why I played that, because I didn't want it to come off offensive. You know how we do it, fellas. I gotta attack the ideology, Black men, brothers, dear sister over there, because you giggling, and I take that as endorsement. I'm just telling you, be warned of the ideology. Do some studying on your own. Don't just gobble that shit wholesale. Don't just gobble that shit wholesale. Listen closely. Ask yourself, how does that shit make sense? They got over there and philosophical, went to being philosophers and shit, and MD went to freedom is an individual act and it's yet group participatory. Then how is it truly free? Mm-hmm. He thought himself out the goddamn box. He got so deep, he thought himself out the box. Essentially saying that if a group has the same definition of freedom, they're not free. What the fuck? How do you define freedom? a state. Everybody has their way of expressing freedom. Freedom is the ability to be able to express it. Everybody has their thoughts of freedom. Shit, the nigga locked up thinking about being free. Free world, shout. Boy, when I hit that world, shout, it's a snapping turtle. Hell yeah. So free in your mind. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. And I'm like, they really pushing this. They really pushing it. It's asinine. And I'll take any of those debates. You know that there is no salvation for the black man under the Constitution of the United States. And you're gonna challenge, like Malcolm said, well, you ain't gonna find a place better than this. Find a place anywhere better than this. But I will take the challenge of being specific. I will take the challenge of being specific about a place better than this. I will take that challenge of being specific, and probably in document form, you know, and in practice. You know, we'd have to look at what you call better. Material, I could, you know, just off the top of my head, I would throw, man, quite possibly Cuba. We'd have to look at what you call better. Material possessions, your ability to participate in consumer capitalism and have all the bullshit stuff your home that is of no consequence, of no practice. As soon as you drive it off the lot or put it in your house and shit like that, it depreciates, further domesticating you. Niggas ain't got gardens. I'm finna go out there. I'm finna start bringing my garden to YouTube. Let y'all see what I do. You ain't got no motherfucking garden. You're not advocating for the people to garden. Learn a motherfucking trade. Build a deck on your house or something. Start doing and teaching some self-sufficiency, independence. There you go. Let me drop it down. I'll drop the link in. Let me see. Make sure I get the link in. If you come up. See, I very rarely look at the chat. When I get a chance, I'll often get a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I question it. Come on up. I mean, there's no particular or specific thing anyone can show me what freedom is. The fact that they had the opportunity to do it speaks to their freedom. The fact that they had the opportunity, if you want to show, let me show you what freedom is. Freedom is this garden. Freedom is doing this. Freedom. The fact that you could do that speaks to freedom. Now, your limitation only speaks to what you set for yourself. I know as a group of people, we are not free. The way the Constitution is written, the way that the social political dynamic is set up, that we're not free. Starting with, you can start with the felon, which is one of my favorite things that I champion, the double jeopardy. Where's the freedom in that? Regulating them to a particular workforce to make sure this capitalist beast goes on. How long is one penalized for a mistake made certain years ago? So where's the freedom in that? Where's this so-called, for you talk about this system, freed us, civil right, the white man signed laws into effect to free us. Something like this, you said civil rights. If we were free, if you were a part of this, first of all, you wouldn't have to have, white supremacy is affirmative action. White supremacy is the Bill of Rights. I mean, the civil rights. Why is that needed? And why did the white man sign that into law? He had an option. Here, Brother Malcolm told you. He told you the ballot or the motherfucking bullet. So there was that few, that percentage, what we call in the revolutionary world the petty bourgeois. The petty bourgeois that would see to gain advantage. Like you said, those Morehouse men and those, when you look at the civil rights movement, they're led by a certain class, and the opening up of certain, passing certain laws created avenues that they could further entrench themselves or explore what they believe will be the opportunities of American capitalism. That's all it was. It wasn't about no motherfucking masses. It was the masses that was hanging and swinging from trees so these Negroes could extol the virtues of America. It was the masses in the South taking the blunts of them blows and shit like that to go in there to participate, this and that, biting into the promise of what these Negroes offered them in America to be left with nothing. We still got farmers suing for bullshit that the government has done to them. And this is who you say is going to give equity? Come on, man. Come on. We still screaming Black fucking lives matter. We're still trying to bring attention to the motherfucking blatant targeting of melanated people. And it ain't just stop with the men, our women too. They beating our women's ass in front of our face. Children, killing our babies. Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin and shit, killing our children, just totally punking the black man. When your woman and children can't feel like you protect them, what good are we? There you go. What's going on, MD?
Peace, peace. What's up?
Peace,
Hey,
peace.
listen, man. Hey, I thought we hashed this out yesterday, man.
I did.
At the end of the day, we came to a commonality in terms of white supremacy, the ideology, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We
We
both
yeah,
agree it's
we
an
so
ideology. I think we
right. So
disagreed on whether the system or not, what role the system played in it.
right, and I told you the system itself was government. Government does not change, but the ideology is ever flowing. White supremacy, for the most part, has been the ideology in the government. I only disagree with that. But what
You
I'm
un-
telling you is we have the ability to change the ideology in the government that is the system.
I think that that's where we would disagree. I think that it is too too far entrenched that it has been implemented in laws within the government. It isn't just the players anymore. They've been in it for so long that they have implemented laws that will keep it entrenched. Look at, and I'm always using Jackson, Mississippi. Look how they went back to an 1809 Constitution and a law, a Mississippi Constitution. They used something from 1809. So that's how long they've had to entrench white supremacy and certain provisions that guarantee their power within the government structure.
Gotcha. And I totally get it. But what I'm telling you is I can show you the provisions in which, first of all, it's unconstitutional. Second of all, it can be easily repealed. So tell you what, Younger, this is what I'm gonna do. I know you got your debates, and you may have something to come up before I enter the league, right? If not then, or if not the playoffs, even if it's off season, I want to hold all this information. I want you to compile yours. I compile mine, and we're gonna get this Constitution debate in, and we'll formulate a
Okay.
title to make it
Okay,
relevant,
brother. Yes, sir.
and
Yes,
then
sir.
we can go head on fact for fact,
Yes,
because
sir.
that's what it's gonna lead to at this point.
Okay.
And I
I
can
agree
show
with that.
you, your very thought or your enlistment of ideology when it comes to liberation for us and freedom for us is instilled in the very freedom that you say don't exist. That's
I
where
didn't
I'm at with it
understand
now.
that. I didn't understand what you mean. I mean, freedom is freedom. I don't.
Meaning that the thought process of you visualizing freedom as a people is
Mhm.
instilled within the Constitution that gives you that right.
Okay, meaning what we call free. I'm not saying okay. I'm not saying it's not in there because freedom is going to have a universal understanding, a universal energy. Everybody's going to have that universal, that general meaning. What I'm saying is when you advocate that how it stands now and the way that it is being enforced, that freedom will not be found for black men and total and complete freedom for black men and black women in the Constitution. And I would just start with just throwing out just the amendments itself. The fact that
Okay.
we have to be amended in. But like you said, we're gonna put it, I'm looking forward to that. Listen, let me correct something too. Thank you, Sister Noble, with my dyslexic ass. And not making fun of the dyslexic people. But it is 1890 law. 1890 law, not 1809. Thank you, Sister Noble.
Right, and that was, not only did that happen in Mississippi, but it happened, across the South, because you got to remember at that time, they was ramping down in 1877 when they stopped Reconstruction, and that was the beginning of the end for us politically as a people in the South. I totally get it, and that was the onset of your modern day Jim Crow, so I get it. But like I said, I can show you constitutionally where that was wrong. See, we talking about state constitution versus federal, right? We talking about no representation in the state, all the representation federally. We're gonna have to differentiate the two. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I get your point, but what I'm telling you is there's an out. An out that you may not see. I mean, you may be somewhere in the corner of the maze. I'm telling you, there's a way out politically.
Okay, we have it. You know what? We definitely gonna open for that and leave that open to do that, man. And peace to the chat, man. Peace, Domo, man. Appreciate you falling through. Listen, the links in the chat. Jump up, man, if you want to participate, man. Maroon Society. It's an all good zone. If you're willing to have, just be questioned on some ideologies, fall through, and have your say. Yeah, we'd have to really talk about that. Cause like I said, man, that shit, it just ain't gonna fly. I'm going back to, if never have there been a point in case, Jackson is that point in case. And again, thanks, Noble. It's 1890. The 1890 type shit is a point in case that they have been entrenched so long. And even to go to what Domo says it can be a point. I know Black Sun would have some contingency or what you call pushback on that, but that black people weren't considered when it was written, when the Constitution was written.
There you go. So wouldn't an amendment be fitting to make sure that we're singled out within those freedoms of the Constitution? I would think.
Yeah, but the fact that you need that amendment, always speaks to a certain second-class citizenship. It speaks to a peripheral. You're always on the outlines, of that society that was established. You're not a permanent member of that. You're not an established member of that society. I know it says whether born there, naturalized, yada, yada, yada. The verbiage sounds good, but the fact that it's an amendment. And it has to be brought up and it has to be ratified every now and then. This and that speaks to us being on the periphery of that society. So I don't know, how much stability we can right now. And then we're talking hypothetical. Right now, this is what we have. It's immediate. It's in our face. But I really don't know how much stability we can say that has for us. Alternatives have to be explored. I'm not so quick to say, because I have to look at the political, and then I'm a revolutionary. So, like I said, when you look at Jackson, Mississippi, you start to look at the political begin to falter and begin to fall short. At what part do we start, really putting in real participation beyond the political? I don't know the word I would call it, but like field participation, or getting there, rebuilding, declaring disaster areas for ourselves, and declaring this a zone that we're going to build up for ourselves. I mean, we clearly see some shit happening that is pre-fucking 1965. They taking Jackson, Mississippi back before the goddamn civil rights era. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
So this is what you're gonna have to do. So if not today, whenever you fire up another show, or whenever you able to pull up some information, we're gonna have to pull up that piece of legislation and see exactly what it said. Okay. Like I said, I know the gist of it, And I ain't trying to defend it. Hell no. I just want to see what the legal language is within the piece of legislation. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
And
And then
that'll be good for me
down
too.
from there.
Absolutely. That'll be good for me too. I need to be abreast of it. I don't know, word for it. I'm like you. I know the gist. I think that that'll be good too. Let's see what the chat's talking about. Like I said, man, we just here. Sister Noble jumped up.
Peace to Sister Nova. I don't know if she's
Peace,
still
Peace,
on
sister.
her
everybody.
sabbatical. Oh, peace to
Honey,
Sister Nova.
honey. If I'm up here, I'm not on my sabbatical. If I'm up here,
Oh, okay, you off vacation. All right.
yeah, no, I'm off.
Yes, ma'am.
But I just jumped up to say, I read, I looked at a few videos. I read about the 1890 law that was passed that disenfranchised thousands of black voters in 1890, and they just brought that shit back. What makes anybody think that they won't do the same here in Atlanta, Georgia?
You know what? I
What makes
said that
anybody?
same
Yeah,
shit.
I know. I heard you. I
Yeah.
heard you. But I can see that happening. I can see a precedent happening here in Atlanta, Georgia, because of what has already happened in Jackson, Mississippi. See what I'm saying? So, people need to wake up and realize that, although you have your personal freedom, and that's fine. It's okay. If you feel personally free, you know, but this is a system that is designed to disenfranchise poor people, not just black people. Okay.
Come on.
Not just black people. Listen to what I'm saying. Disenfranchise poor people. Okay. And we cannot sit up here and act like there is no such thing as white privilege or racism happening, because there is. And we see it every day, whether you see it covertly or overtly. It doesn't matter. It's in your face. Okay, it's in your face. Like you said, white supremacy is Black History Month. A lot of people, that went over a lot of people's head. A lot of people.
Will you please break it down for him then, Sister Noble, since you seem to have caught it?
Black History Month, personally, I don't do Black History Month. Every day is Black History to me. Every day, not just a month out of 1 year, not just a month out of the year. Okay. So every day is Black pride to me. I have pride. When I walk out my house, I have to, lift my head up and pretend like, I live in a fair system, which I don't, which I already know it's not a fair system. But I have to act like I do, for the sake of trying to maintain some sort of sanity, or stay on my job long enough without offending anybody. You understand what I'm saying?
That's fucking trauma.
Yeah, I know.
That's real what you just said. I mean, I don't know if now I'm saying some shit. You said something that may went over some people's heads. Think about that.
Yeah.
You have to go out and maintain a semblance of some sanity by going against your very nature every damn day.
So you won't, lose your job. So, you won't offend anybody on the outside world, because I can say some shit at my job that might be offensive and end up losing my damn job. I can't do that. I need my job. Do you understand? I need my job just to pay fucking bills. Pretty much. That's what we're doing. We just working to pay bills, pay into the system. Pretty much. And if you happen to have some extra money to go on vacation or to go and buy you a few things that you want, that is great. That's wonderful. But right now we need to get Joe Biden ass out of office because he fucking it up for everybody. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He fucking it up for everybody. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Get that man out of office. Get him out of office. Him and Kamala Harris. Because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Like you said, man, it's ridiculous. I knew that when I went in there and saw eggs was $1 million a dozen.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
And,
man. And we have
I know.
But that's the whole, what those is but that's the whole thing where we start getting in about self-sufficiency and self-determination. And it starts on a small scale. Like, it's a distasteful word. Retreat is a distasteful word. But I say a tactful withdrawal. You know, we
Yeah.
have to begin to, I would advocate gardens, you know, start looking at maybe quite possibly getting land if your finances up there, but things to begin to inoculate yourself, looking to get a generator, you know, get some water purifiers, get the little shit that starts begin to take you down a course of self-determination. But
Yeah.
learn,
Yeah.
you know, we have to start to practice to learn to wean ourselves off this system. And I do believe
Hmm.
system is the adequate word for it, because we routinely do it without giving thought,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now, since the Muslims took over the complex
Mm-hmm.
where I live,
Mm-hmm.
they have actually put up a garden
Mm. Okay.
over here. Yes, they have.
Mm-hmm.
They've
Mm-hmm.
grown greens over here. They have goats. They have chickens, hens.
Doesn't
I'm
surprise
talking
me.
about since the Muslim community took over the complex where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So, they ahead. They ahead.
Mm-hmm.
They know what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
They know. But we need this to be on a wider scale. We need Black people to start growing their own food on a wider scale.
Mm-hmm.
Because things are not going to get any better in this country. In fact, it's going to get worse. You know. But that's
Yeah.
all I came up here to say. Say my 2 cents.
Man, I appreciate it. Feel free to
All
come
right.
back
Yeah.
anytime, man. Jump on the
Thank you,
panel.
Sister Noble.
Yeah.
You have a good day.
Appreciate the contribution. You
Yes,
also.
ma'am.
And like, she dropped some real shit. One of the main things that she said that just impressed upon me uh is like just the trauma, the everyday trauma of trying to maintain a natural sense in an unnatural environment. Like she said, going to work, having to put on this smile to go to work, to have to maintain, to have to pay bills. In some kind of way, we just feel like, man, if I had enough money, if I could pay into this shit, if I could just grease this system a little bit more, I could slip through. And I'm beginning to realize I don't think that's the case. I don't think that that's the case. And I don't know if we will get politically involved enough to begin to affect the change that is major, so major that we will begin to see something for us. I don't know if that made
Right.
any sense.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get what you're saying. I ain't never argued that point. What
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying is we ain't never seen the incentive to be that involved. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And I
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
I get it. And it's a tortoise and the hare at this point. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
One
Absolutely.
we like I said, right now, within the span of maybe 5-6 years, the ideology of political literacy in Black folks has been growing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's my spark. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if by chance that we could get it on a more wider scale, like I said, I think the ideology can change overnight. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's on
yeah,
a political level.
yeah.
Now everything else, fall into play as it will, based off of the freedoms that you have. Like I
Right.
said, me personally, I'm an individual. If your thing is commune, cool. I ain't got no problem with that. You know what I mean? If your thing
Mm-hmm.
is to be more self-sustaining in regards of everyday life, again, I ain't got no problem with that. My
Mm-hmm.
goal ultimately is for us to be of a sound mind politically in order to create the change that we want to see, and equate it to what you would call freedom or liberty. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Here's my,
But that's my ideology, though.
yeah, I could see that. Okay, here, let me ask a question. What's your take on critical race theory?
I think it's some bullshit. So here's the thing. Would I reform political race theory in some form or fashion? So from my early onset of seeing what was the backlash on CRT, was that they were trying to individualize certain aspects of like the state curriculum. You know what I mean? Meaning that they were trying to actually single out in a lot of these study programs or curriculums that they were doing on the state level, that they were trying to put a curriculum together to like outline, like single out individual families and stuff like that. Would I take it that far? Me personally, no, I wouldn't, because you singling out individual family or individual group as it pertains to the enslavement and torture of our people. Yeah, it may highlight one certain facet or one certain situation, but overall, we know what it was as an ideology in totality. So with that part of CRT, I wouldn't amend it, but I would mend and shape it, so to speak. But yeah, see, like them blocking out CRT is some bullshit.
Right. Okay.
No
So
doubt.
that's my point. Okay. So say a place like in Florida, something that when you talk about making these political changes, that even if the ideology changed overnight and we got some people in key positions, say we actually pulled that miracle off, how much longer will we have to have them in positions of the Senate and the House to reverse some of these motherfucking laws that have already been entrenched into?
Well,
That's
with
what
the
I'm
right
saying. Like,
mindset, you could do it the next turn. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I don't know. I don't
With
know.
the right
Like you said,
mindset, and I'm talking about in some of these concentrated areas where we deep. We have to place ourselves in these concentrated areas and make sure that we getting district and state seats with those concentrated areas. Like Atlanta pretty much do it right now, but they under the thumb of the Democratic Party.
well,
I
Atlanta, yeah,
guarantee
no,
you
Atlanta.
overnight. Can
Go
you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, I was saying, go ahead.
No, I'm telling you, Atlanta, they're doing like they did Jackson, Mississippi, and Atlanta. Shit, Buckhead is about to be its own city. Buckhead is separating from Atlanta, taking huge revenue, creating big problems for Atlanta. They're doing the same shit. That's what I'm
Yeah,
telling you. When
they
we
voted
start
it
getting into,
down.
they
They
voted
voted it
it
down, but
down.
they're gonna try again. Yeah, they voted it down,
Oh yeah,
but
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
try
try
again.
again.
Thank goodness. Oh, you know they coming at it. That's why I said Mississippi was just the testing ground. You know what I'm saying? And so if they can, thank goodness they were able to vote that down now. But it's that type of thing. When we start coming into power, look what they did when I forget with the last election that just not the last election that the last election that was putting Warnock now, not the last, maybe the election before that, but was putting all of these people in power. They started redistricting. I mean, when we start to play really that political game with them, it's a game of longevity. Look how long I don't know if we possess the foresight to really get down and start playing that game. I know we don't possess the unity, the political unity, nor the uh that vision. Maybe at one point in time, maybe we could argue that the civil rights was that, but I don't know. Now I would really question that, especially to have the uh perseverance that it would take to accomplish that. Because like some of the things that we disagree on is the terminology of freedom. I don't know if our people are in dire straits enough to produce another movement like the civil rights to that effect, revolutionary reform or revolution, because it was blatant then, it was in your face. Now the shit is so subtle, we arguing what's going on.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But again, it's not the fact that we like being kissed on the nape of the neck. You know what I'm saying? With white supremacy, it's like we understand that certain aspects of our political reality are being hindered, even with the slightest of subtlety. We have to be able to pinpoint that. You can only do that through political literacy. You can't just wait until midterms or mayoral election or gubernatorial. You can't wait. It's ongoing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like the NFL got an off season, we got to have an off season with a political mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ever changing. The ideology, again, like I said, the ideology is ever changing. It's the ebbs and flows of the ideology, what you got to go through and weed through in order to succeed. We become so stagnant when it comes to our political reality. That's what hinders us the most. And then we expect. I'm glad you brought up the water thing again with Mississippi. And me and Black Sun talked about this yesterday. Black Sun brought up. I don't know if you remember a few years ago when they had the T-Splosh, when they did the pipes in the West End.
Yeah.
Do you know that the community at large in the West End was opposed of that T-Splosh? When in actuality, you could have had the same situation in the West End that you got in Jackson right now. Your priorities have to be first on that community, second on how the people are being acclimated in that community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. So like I said, like I told you yesterday, I ain't against nothing that the RNA and those brothers was able to do in Jackson. What I'm telling you was they fantasized nation within a nation, like Amir Baraka would say, and didn't focus on the actual structure of the government of Jackson. So am I necessarily saying that it's Negroes' fault at the end of the day? No, I won't put all the blame on them. But I will say some priorities was jacked up. And you agree with that.
Yeah, some of our priorities are jacked up, but I disagree with saying that, and I think I said that on the last live, that they did participate in the political process. Like Chokwe Lumumba Jr., his father was the mayor before him. I'm contesting. My pushback is that it is a microcosm of a macrocosm. It is they're doing to Jackson what they did to Haiti. How dare you aspire for complete and political independence and show us they actually got into these seats of government and positions of power in the most largely black populated city to begin to show us how we can have a slow withdrawal, begin to do our own thing, and they're taking that power. They tried them with the water. That shit didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Now they're coming in with basically saying that Negroes can't govern themselves and coming in and usurping his authority. And they're using old laws that they will even admit were put in place to keep black people from ever coming to fruition of power and authority or self-governance. So that's what I mean by the whole thing. There's a fail net. There's a safety switch, a valve they hit on this shit. And they're doing it to Jackson. And it's hard to say that it's unconstitutional, it's illegal, because they have made provisions for the legality of, just in case one day the niggers did rise, to take us right back, to take our brothers and sisters in Jackson, Mississippi, right back to pre-civil rights. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say that they didn't participate.
Oh, I'm not saying they didn't participate. I'm talking about the priority within the sanctions of government that they were participating in. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is not to buy into neo-colonialism. The whole point was to begin to succeed from it, to begin to, like you said, to be that nation within the nation, to get away. And I think that they begin to discover the answer to that. Like I said, they're again pointing out the most largely black populated city in the United States, that they begin, because they've been around since 68 or some shit, that they begin to make these moves and the attacks like they do everybody that contests their power. Look at Cuba with the sanctions. Look at, you look at a lot of these nations that dare stand. Look at Venezuela. A lot of these nations that dare stand up and defy capitalism or look imperialism in the eyes and say, you're a fucking devil. So they visited the same thing on these nations. I think what happens is it's hard for us to fathom that they would introduce these same sanctions on us because we black. We like, oh, we niggas. I know they ain't looking at us like that. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And they're trying to crush a dream before it grows. My thing would be for all the black nation to rise up and support them and to fill out in whatever proficiency you fill out. You know what I'm saying? If y'all drive them trucks and we can get resources, let's run resources to the motherfucker. Let's help rebuild. If our brothers are, and I say this, wink, wink, but licensed and armed, you know, licensed to be armed, to carry, and to go down and defend. Go provide those defense protection, you know, for the neighborhoods and things like that. And you know who to be on the lookout for. Don't get down there and get brand new. Y'all know who the enemy is. So that type of thing, you know. And I would also say, in concluding that, man, because I'm on the Yankee Yang, to conclude that, I would say here's the time for the Black Americans, the constitutionalists, those that, like you said, that believe that political participation could be, you know, there's some movement in that, some upward mobility in the degree of not just political participation, because I do believe in political participation to a degree, but with the intent of separation. I think it's too many holes in this ship. But I think that Jackson should serve as a model for those people to show, you know, tell your America get their shit together. Tell Trump make America great again for black folk in Jackson. Give them back their power. Restore their rights. You know, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. And I don't know. I need to look at all the thing of Jackson. I'm sure they declared Jackson in a state of emergency, right? And the federale stepping in, but shit, did they step in for Detroit? These bitches are trying to kill us, man. They're trying to kill us, y'all.
Yeah. Like I said, you know, that the whole water thing is a touchy subject because even though I look at the plight in it, I also look at again the where the priorities lie in terms of this being a majority black city for generations. And you know, I use the example of the water situation, where the pipe situation in the West End, and the actual people being vehemently opposed to it based off of sacrificing of a higher T-splosh tax in order to get this done. But that's a similar situation. I'm like I said, I'm not trying to say, look, you Negroes are the reason that your water jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm saying, as a government, as a local government, I would think that will be part of your process, as well as putting together your ideology, but also maintaining that your realization within the system of Mississippi is vital, it being Jackson. You know what I mean? But that's
I
all.
think, yeah, I think they did. That's why I said we're saying the same thing. I think they did. I think that that Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, flexed a muscle. What I hear you saying is like they should have capitulated. I hear you saying that they should have put that as a priority, but that basically to me translates is they should have went along to get what they need. And I'm telling you, Mississippi is penalizing them because they dare to be independent. I'm telling you, I do believe they did what they were gonna do that didn't compromise on their freedoms to self-government. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, yeah, y'all water's fucked up because y'all didn't do A, B, C, D, and D, but y'all wanted us to do it like that. That's not, you know, we stayed within the legalities. Apparently, we participated in the political process. We won the fucking capital of Mississippi. And instead of, you know, where's the Mississippi patriotism? Instead of them fixing their own motherfucking capital, they take the power from the people of Mississippi. It's blatant racism. It's how
You're right,
dare these
because
niggas drink.
if that would have happened in Bumblefuck, Mississippi, like the state would have swooped right on in. I get it.
Exactly. So,
I
but
get it.
yeah. And this, man, it was it was another point I wanted to make that was closely related, but it wasn't on that. But anyway, must have not been important. Yeah. So it's real. Yeah, I'm forgetting my thought, you guys.
No, it's
So
all good. I'm about to get ready to hop off. I got to get this load. But I
okay,
just wanted to chop it up with you on that point. Again,
I appreciate it, man.
I'm ready for this Constitution discussion.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I'm
Yes,
ready
sir.
for.
All right, man.
You
I
know what I mean? But
appreciate it. I
we'll leave it
appreciate
at
you.
that. But if I'm still listening though.
Okay, I appreciate you following through, MD. Definitely.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace. Shouts out to MD, man, for following through. Definitely bringing some enlightenment to his point of perspective. I can appreciate that. So yeah, man, I'm not even going to be on long. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Like I said, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Even if you love to hate this shit, hit that like button, come through, send some of that energy through. That'll just help me tighten up on my game. But I wanted to do this live to send out to clarify because we're in a tight, y'all. We in the motherfucking tight, and we in a fight. And it's gonna take all hands on deck. I don't believe that there's any salvaging this ship. I just, you would really have to prove to me that there's any salvaging this ship. In fact, here's the unfortunate reality. We're on a ship that we shouldn't even be on. After they allegedly gave us freedom, three things should have happened that didn't happen. After we allegedly were given freedom, uh, we should have been given a choice to repatriate, get the fuck out of here, go off somewhere and build our own society, or integrate into their society. They allegedly freed us and then made us subject to their penalties and punishments and laws of their laws. You so-called freed us and then made us just privy to all your worst. Only thing it did is just saying you removed chains from our necks, but still created conditions that would all but ensure enslavement, from sharecropping to Jim Crow. And that's what we see happening now. And if we're not vigilant, we will see before you know it, maybe not you and I. See, this is how they keep us in immediate gratification. Maybe not you and I, but 300-400 from now. Why not? They say if you don't know history, you're destined to repeat it. And they're already doing away with critical race theory. Why not 300-400 years from now, niggas be back in chains? Huh? Why not? We already see the bold and brazen moves they're making right now. We already see what they're doing right now. They're not even trying to hide the facts. Everything is a sequence. This Trump, the rhetoric, the conditions, the climate, what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi, the rumors of him running again, will he be, won't he be, just the whole climate of America in itself, this fucking war, inflation, all of that is setting the stage and conditions. And if we don't see this coming, we can keep trying to buy into and thinking that if, we pay our taxes and buy into this, somehow they will see us as viable citizens and look at us with the eyes of benevolence and like Dr. King tried to sell you. They will see the content of your character when little black boys be holding little white girls' hands in the mountains of Mississippi, in the valleys of Georgia with them little white girls. Try to sell you that dream, content or character. They won't see my black ass. They see you. Oh, they see you. And they have a design uniquely and specifically for you and I. So we have to, I know that it's small steps. I know that it's crazy. I struggle for freedom got us out here fucking with the Lexus. Shouts out to the Vortex. Pow, my shot, Negro. But real shit. You know what I'm saying? Seeking solutions to separate ourselves, grabbing on the piece of woods and life, or if you can find a life preserver or a raft, until we can hone something together to get afloat, because it is becoming that dire. I talked to my son. He's he's so into the Matrix. It's not, and I love him. I know he's in the next room. I'm gonna get on off before he come in here, Dad, talking about me. That he doesn't even really grasp the sacrifices that it had taken for him to get where he's at, to do what he's doing. And if he's not doing anything to contribute to upward mobility of not just his family, but to his people, then it really is a travesty. It really is an insult to the ego, to the ancestors. So I have to, these type of warnings that I'm giving him and trying to set something up from him, even if it's something as, a little garden or a garden with a solid or a stable financial plan with a future to it. You know what I'm saying? Giving him a plan with a future. How many of us are even at the very least giving our children plans, giving them the culture and a plan to begin to take the second step out this shit? If we doing the research and we beginning to adapt the life, there's certain shit our children shouldn't have to go through. It's just that simple with me. It's just that simple. Okay, let me put my boy up there. I'm gonna proselytize for my boy. I am the one, the universe, and his ancestors has sent and lost you hard-headed niggas. Why not? Why the fuck not? Shit. Why not? I've heard stranger. Um, let me get my man, put my man up there. Right. Absolutely, Inyame. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm trying to read these. I missed out on some of the text, but I'm going to chime out, man. I think I said what I wanted to say. Sending my my shouts out. Definitely, I appreciate everybody falling through and sharing with me. But I just had to wake us up, man. We have to begin to do for self. There's no way around it. And the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one footstep. It starts within you. It starts with accountability and responsibility. Accountability and responsibility. For those of us that like to do this knowledge and study, start studying, find out what so-called companies we're buying from that support. Like, I don't fuck with Coke products no more because Coke supports Cop City down here. Fuck Coke. If you in Atlanta, man, we off the coast. Anywhere, yo. Y'all fuck, let's get y'all jump on this campaign with me. Fuck Coke products. Do your read Dasani water, all that shit that is Coke products. Let's say fuck Coke products, and I'll bring to you maybe some activists down here that have been vigilant on the whole Cop City thing. You know, might break. Try to see if I can't get my man Tutmos. I don't know if y'all know this Tut, different type of Tut from Atlanta. Get on here. He's been, with cops, vigilant on what's going on with Cop City. In fact, one of the people that were murdered, the young revolutionary that was murdered, I think he and Tut were comrades to a degree. So get him on here to explain it. But fuck Coke products. This is what I'm talking about: accountable spending. Finding out those companies that invest things that are not in our best interest. Let's stop giving them our dollars blindly. Just that little shit. Just that little shit. I'm willing to guarantee you will begin to make a dent. Let's start extracting ourselves and pulling away from that. And you will find out when we start saying fuck those products, it would also begin strengthen our ability to walk away from a lot of these products that keep us captive and enslaved and feeling the need to say that this is the best place on fucking earth. Yeah, that way. All right, man. So with that, yeah, we're gonna have that talk. That's gonna be a good talk. Lex, even you and I, we'll get up here and we'll talk about that too. I like to we'll discuss that. I'm open to everything. With that, man, listen, from the man, y'all having a whole good conversation in the chat. I might need to go back and get caught up. We did build here after the Civil War. Yeah, I may have to go back and caught up. But with that, man, I appreciate everybody falling through. I'm gonna leave you like I leave you, like we greet you at the Maroon Society. Wukusu, which are the words of Malcolm. Wake up, clean up, and stand up again. Wukusu. Wake up, clean up, and stand up. Just go be excellent, man. Just go doing you to the best of your ability will promote black excellence. That's all I'm asking you to do. Just go be the best, most fucking outstanding you. Don't let anything tell you that you're beautiful, black, African, melanated, Moorish, Kibulonic, Kemetic, Nubian, whatever way you're trying to describe that fascinating motherfucking skin that you're in. Go be the best of that. All right, man. Peace.